Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Rogue Agent Answers. My name is the Rogue Agent. Some people call me David Lewis, and every week I answer one of the many life insurance-related questions that I've received from clients, from email subscribers on the daily email list. Questions floated to me from across the interwebs, in the comments sections, which I know you're not supposed to read, or just interactions that I've had with people in real life over the past 20 years, which is a long time. And some of these questions I just scribble down on scrap pieces of paper. Some of these are stuff I've written down on my phone. Some of it is on Post-it notes scattered all over the office. And every week I answer one of those questions. So if you'd like to ask your question, drop them in the comments section or join my email list for more life insurance tips and advice at therogueagent.com. Also, keep in mind that nothing in this podcast is or should be construed as financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. In fact, nothing that I say in this podcast should be construed even as insurance advice, as I don't give individual advice blanket just across the internet, unqualified, to random strangers. So if you need any of that stuff, contact a licensed professional that you know, like, and trust, preferably someone licensed in your jurisdiction. And now for this week's question. If I add a living benefit rider for chronic illness, how do they decide how much of my death benefit I can use while I'm alive? It's a great question. So it's all stipulated in your contract. Some insurance companies will pay up to 25% of your death benefit maximum, while other companies will pay a small amount and then increase it. I've seen it go north of 80% of your death benefit over a period of, say, 20 years. You know, in other words, it takes 20 years for that, for them to allow you to access that much. It's like you start out at a lower percentage and then it increases over time. So, you know, they kind of target an age of around, you know, so you're in your 70s or 80s before you would really make use of that benefit, which is kind of what they want because that's most likely where you might need that benefit. But the exact amount is always going to be specified in your policy contract. So to trigger a chronic illness rider benefit payment, you must meet the rider's criteria, which usually means that you have to be permanently disabled in some way. So this could be due to a severe heart attack, a stroke, some other condition like dementia, Alzheimer's. The stipulation for these riders is that you are unable to perform 2 of the 6 acts of daily living. So meaning you cannot do at least 2 of the following: feed yourself, bathe yourself, use the toilet by yourself, dress yourself, move independently, what they call self-transfer, control your bladder and bowels, continence. So in other words, basically things have to be pretty dire. But then, you know, this is exactly what the insurance is for. So that's the long and short of how they work. Now, a lot of companies have stipulations in their, especially for chronic illness riders, that it has to be a permanent disability, meaning you are not expected to recover. They don't allow you to kind of go on and off. There's some exceptions to that. So there are some riders that allow you to do that, but I think those are still in the minority. And it's mostly about the rider is triggered when it's permanent, you know, when the condition is or expected to be permanent and you're not going to recover from it. And that's like last resort kind of thing. But again, that's what insurance is for, to kind of protect you from the worst possible scenario. They don't want people triggering it for things where it's like a temporary illness or something, they're going to get better. This is downside protection on your life. So anyway, that's how they work. Great question. Keep them coming, and I will talk to you in the next. Not talk to you, but I will see you in the next one, or not even see you. I guess I'll just be answering questions. Okay, that's it for this week's question. If you'd like to add your question to the list, just drop them in the comment section or send me an email. And if you want more life insurance tips and advice, just head on over to therogueagent.com and sign up for my daily email list.